Hi, Grape. How are you doing, man? No, don't go in there. The sadness of losing Dice is followed by, and it's this way with all the piggies that are bonded when I lose them, is at least the distraction of trying to find a new cage mate. And I'm gonna try Patches first, because I'd like to get him out of his foster cage and get him socialized. We'll see how much of a Buddha Grape really is. BB, I hear you. I hear you, BB. Come on, eat your breakfast, please. Come on, eat your breakfast. Good. I know, Grape. I know, buddy. Oh, my sweet boy. You gotta be nice to him, okay? I see you, BB. God forbid I'm not hovering over BB, encouraging him to eat his breakfast. No. He's a lot younger, and he's gonna be humpy. But Dice, when he was feeling better, was always pretty aggressive and humpy with Grape. So they just have to set some boundaries. Grape is very diplomatic. He's gonna tell him how he feels, what his boundaries are. Grape's like, can I just live alone? Or at least give me a baby to boss around. This is the closest thing we have to a baby. A lot of people don't know what to watch for. I was just counting it up, and I've done over 1,000 bondings, probably well over 1,000. And so we're looking for aggression. I have an entire playlist, as you guys know. I've got a bonding playlist. I'll put it right here, but I'll also put it at the end of this video, and there's links to my playlists in the description below. And if you go to my homepage, or if you go to my website, there's links in my care guide. My care guide is actually split up into the 5 different broad categories of guinea pig care, as I've sort of come to understand them. You've got your cage mates and your bonding. You've got the cage setup itself. You've got diet, taming, and illness. And so I have an entire bonding page. And this annoyance is normal. What we don't want to see is, which would be the next phase, is the tooth chattering and any fighting. I didn't think I was going to have to wrap my hand, but I've got a a little fleece cuddle sack I can put my hand in right here in case I have to separate them. But people tend to, if you watch my bonding videos, you know I do the play-by-play. People tend to put their own emotions onto the piggies. They tend to separate them early. With girls, in some ways, it's easier to bond them because the percentage of success is usually higher, but it often takes a lot more jockeying for position. Now, some people, they would say, oh, Grape doesn't like him. And that may be true, but he's not being aggressive with him. And they will figure it out. Either they will tooth chatter and they will actually try to fight each other, or they won't. And this is just part of it. Patches has to figure out what Grape's boundaries are. He has been alone and he is very excited to be with other piggies. He's very social. He's very humpy because he's just about a year old. And it's actually going pretty good, and I credit it to Mr. Chicken Butt right here. Guess what, Grape? Maybe we need a Grape t-shirt that says "Guess what, Chicken Butt," and it just shows his fluffy rooster tail. In the comments, say "Chicken Butt" if you want a Grape Chicken Butt t-shirt, and I'll see if I can make that happen. I have a couple t-shirt designs that I have to make already, so I can spend some time doing that. Guess what? Chicken Butt. So it's actually going pretty well because there's no aggression. Oh, this is the first rumbling. Grape is just so docile and peaceful. He's getting annoyed. See, he does that nose punch. That's different from chattering and biting. Grape has a lot of weight to throw around, and he is very emotionally intelligent, as we would say in the people world. We don't want to apply necessarily our human emotions to their behavior, but he is very diplomatic, is another way of putting it. And he knows that Patches is not really a threat to him. So this is just the first step. They're in the 2x3, and if it goes well, in a little bit I'll put them in the 2x4 where Grape lives, and we'll see if they can get along. Yeah. So, I still hear you, BB. So this is going good. I'm going to let them do their thing for a while. A lot of times you know right away if it's going to be bad. And sometimes, especially with older boys, they get right to the business of eating hay and they don't go through this social thing. But with most boys, especially younger boys, or if you have mixed ages, there's going to be a lot of this humping. I say this a million times, but this is one of those things that really stuck. Saskia has said on numerous occasions that also to explain this behavior to people who sometimes are often shocked at this behavior that they never saw their piggies engage in before. Humping is how guinea pigs shake hands, at least the boys anyway. And this has been fairly unhumpy, or kind of one-sided. So I'll let them to it, and if they can see that. So some people would separate their piggies right there. They'd say, oh no, they're gonna fight. But there was no tooth chattering. And I know Grape, and he's a very sweet, peaceful boy. Everybody has their limits, of course, but Patches is not being too aggressive, and Grape is tolerating a fair amount. So when the novelty wears off, maybe they can just calm down. This would be the best case scenario. I could free up that smaller emergency foster cage, get Patches into an adequate cage with Grape, because both of them need a companion. Okay, well, we'll check back in with them in a little bit, and if all goes well, we will move them into the other bigger cage, into Grape's cage, and we'll see how that goes. Well, this is just cute. Oh, just wanted to capture that moment because it's funny. Yeah, focus on the hay, boys. Focus on the hay, Patches. You'll have the rest of your life to bug him. If you can just be cool now. They both have this long butt hair, but different styles. You sniffing some pee? Okay. Let's let it continue. Let's let it play out. Yeah, so this is what we want. Oftentimes, if you watch the bonding videos, you'll hear me make this noise. Not to be confused with the chattering sound. That's supposed to be the sound of munching hay. Because what I find is guinea pigs suffer from FOMO, the fear of missing out. And if they hear me sound like I'm eating hay, it often encourages them to eat hay. So this is really great. All right, so I keep saying next stop is the big cage, but then they do something cute or they do something that's important. These are important steps in the bonding process. Come on, focus. Patchy. Patchy poops. Why eat hay when you can sniff a pea spot or a funky pocket spot? Patches, come here, look. Patchy. Focus. This is your job. Good boys. All right. Let's try them in the big cage. All right, we've put them in the bigger cage, and someone cannot contain himself. So what I've done, all right, yes, come on. It's supposed to be reality TV. Don't look at the camera and don't chew anything. Come on, focus. We've move to the bigger cage. This is a 2x4 CNC. This loft obviously goes over here to the other piggies. Could use a fleece cleaning up there, but I just cleaned this out completely, and I took out any houses in this corner over here, and oh my gosh, there he goes. He's very happy. Oh my gosh, he's popcorning and zooming so fast that he just smacked his butt. Oh, you guys know how good that feels to see that. What do you think, BB? There's always a chance. Here, you feel more comfortable up here? He's like, no, it's nap time for me. Alright, so what's going on here? So there used to be a fleece tunnel under here, but I took that away. You know, there's a couple of these posts that hold this up that kind of interrupt the flow, but not totally. Whoa, BB, what are you doing? That was not a skilled move. Where do you want to be? It's like, I want to be home. Here. You're an expert at this, BB. I need your judgment. Okay, that's a good sign. That's a really, really good sign. Now, what you'll find about these bonding videos is they tend to be, if I don't cut out all the little bits, they tend to be 30 minutes or so, because the bonding process can take 30 minutes to an hour or longer. With girls, it may take a week to really have them establish the bonding pecking order. Boys don't have that really as much. Some people think that they have to have a dominant and they have to have a submissive, but the way I look at it is the younger piggies are going to be rambunctious. The older piggies tend to be chill. Now, if you look at Grape, Grape's a big boy, and he's very chill. And Patches he's growing. Be interested to see what both of their weights are at this very moment. But Patches is not as big as Grape. He's a little bit more rambunctious. I wouldn't call him aggressive. So who's the boss in this scenario? Well, I think the boss is the one that cares the least, right? He's like, I don't care what you do. You get in my grill and I'll let you know. So I don't think that the dynamics have to be as cut and dry. And that's why I love these bonding videos, is because each bonding is completely different. Each relationship is different. That's the nature of life. Each relationship is its own living thing. I'm gonna cry. So far so good. They made this transition. Oftentimes, piggies will do great in a playpen. You put them in what is the approximation of the final living quarters, and they screw it up. So that's why I recommend starting with more of an open space. I might put a tunnel in here. I don't know if I'm going to put the corner houses back in, because a lot of times the piggies will chill under something like this. They feel that this is a house. They don't need a whole bunch of houses. And a 2x4 is not so much space that I can really afford to waste the running space with a bunch of houses and tunnels and stuff. So piggies need to feel secure. They need to feel safe, but they also need as much running space as possible. That's another reason why I love these bonding videos, is because I'm able to explain subtle behavior, and also as things come up, I can mention things based on my experience that will hopefully help you get a better understanding of what piggies need and what helps them to thrive. And that's the purpose of this channel. You know how many people watch my videos and are not subscribed? I think quite a few. So hopefully with videos like this, I can convince you that I care about piggies. That's why I've been volunteering at the Los Angeles Guinea Pig Rescue and with a number of guinea pig rescues for over a decade. And I feel grateful to share what I've learned. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. I try to mix a combination of educational videos with funny videos, and you know, I really want to foster, no pun intended, a sense of learning and continual learning. And the comments are a great place where we can share our experience. What do you think? You're watching the drama? He's watching the drama. You're next, buddy. We got to figure out who's going to be your friend. Man, it would be so amazing if Onyx and Gus could live together, but I don't know. What? You ready to go home? Come here. There you go, BB. Nope. Here. So this is what I love to see. Let me know in the comments, do you find this fascinating? If you already commented about chicken butt, you can comment about this too. Multiple comments are more than welcome. So I'm gonna let them do their thing. I'm gonna let this bucking bronco calm down a little bit. Patches. But man, I hope that this makes you feel as good in your heart as it makes me feel. Patches is a very excitable boy. And I love seeing him happy. And Grape is very tolerant, so don't you chew on that. Alright, I'm gonna let them do their thing, even though we'll probably miss some cuteness. Patches, don't blow it. Patches, this is your bond to mess up. I've had many successful bonds go awry after a couple hours even, or days even, because one piggy just couldn't calm down, couldn't be diplomatic. But I believe that Grape is one of those Buddha pigs, one of those pigs that is extremely tolerant. And Patches is in a good age where he is rambunctious, but he can only calm down from here. Being that he's about well, let's see, I rescued them from the pet shop in June, I believe. And it's the end of July, and he was probably a month and a half, 2 months old when I rescued him, so he's almost a year and a half now. I hear you, BB. Alright, I've got some cages to clean and hay to give, so let's pause it here and we'll come back and I'll give you the final verdict. If everything goes right, I'll just let him stay in here until he screws it up. Well, look at that. These guys have been together for a couple hours now. I'm just gonna call it a success. You know, of course, the first week or so is always the most tentative, but they've been very quiet. The only awkward times have been when I've come in here and stuck my head in and checked to see how they're doing. But I've seen them laying down, I've seen them eating and drinking, and it's been pretty peaceful. So I'm going to call it a match. I'm going to, you know, be guarded with, you know, we won't know for sure if it sticks for about a week, but just knowing these guys and their personalities. Patches has been very well behaved, as much as can be expected, and Grape has been his usual chill self. So I'm gonna leave the bonding playlist right here. I really hope that over the course of time you'll dive into it, you'll take a look at some of those videos. I find them very fascinating. There's a lot to learn, a lot of subtle behavior. I try to point it out. So hope you get a kick out of that. I hope that this video was as fascinating to you and as hopeful as I found it. I love these guys. I want them to thrive. You know, and let's take a second to remember Dice and how much we care about him and how much we're going to miss him.